Questioner. We are two girls from England visiting India. We know little about yoga and we are here because we were told that spiritual teachers play an important role in Indian life. Maharaj answers, "You are welcome. There is nothing new you'll find here. The work we are doing is timeless. It was the same 10,000 years ago. Centuries roll on, but the human problem does not change. The problem of suffering and the ending of suffering." Questioner. The other day, 7 young foreigners turned up asking for a place to sleep for a few nights. They came to see their guru who was lecturing in Bombay. I met him, a very pleasant-looking young man he is, apparently very matter-of-fact and efficient, but with an atmosphere of peace and silence about him. His teaching is traditional, with stress on karma yoga, selfless work, service of the guru, etc. Like the Gita, he says that selfless work will result in salvation. He is full of service of the guru, etc. He is full of ambitious plans, training workers who will start spiritual centers in many countries. It seems he gives them not only the authority, but also the power to do the work in his name. Maharaj. Yes, there is such a thing as transmission of power. Questioner. When I was with them, I had a strange feeling of becoming invisible. The devotees, in their surrender to their guru, surrendered me also. Whatever I did for them was their guru's doing, and I was not considered, except as a mere instrument. I was merely a tap to turn left or right. There was no personal relationship whatsoever. They tried a little to convert me to their faith. As soon as they felt resistance, they just dropped me from the field of their attention. Even between themselves, they did not appear very much related. It is their common interest in their guru that kept them together. I found it rather cold, almost inhuman. To consider oneself an instrument in God's hands is one thing. To be denied all attention and consideration because all is God may lead to indifference verging on cruelty. After all wars are made in the name of God. The entire history of mankind is a succession of holy wars. One is never so impersonal as in war. Maharaj. To insist, to resist, are contained in the will to be. Remove the will to be, and what remains? Existence and non-existence relate to something in space and time, here and now, there and then, which again are in the mind. The mind plays a guessing game. It is ever uncertain, anxiety-ridden and restless. You resent being treated as a mere instrument of some god or guru and insist on being treated as a person because you are not sure of your own existence and do not want to give up the comfort and assurance of a personality. You may not be what you believe yourself to be, but it gives you continuity. Your future flows into the present and becomes a past without jolts. To be denied personal existence is frightening, but you must face it and find your identity with the totality of life. Then the problem of who is used by whom is no more. A questioner. All the attention I got was an attempt to convert me to their faith. When I resisted, they lost all interest in me. Maharaj. One does not become a disciple by conversion or by accident. There is usually an ancient link, maintained through many lives and flowering as love and trust, without which there is no discipleship. Questioner. What made you decide to become a teacher? Maharaj. I was made into one by being called so. Who am I to teach and whom? What I am, you are, and what you are, I am. The I am is common to us all. Beyond the I am, there is the immensity of light and love. We do not see it because we look elsewhere. I can only point to the sky. Seeing of the star is your own work. Some take more time before they see the star. Some take less. It depends on the clarity of their vision and their earnestness in search. These two must be their own. I can only encourage. Questioner: what am I expected to do when I become a disciple? Maharaj: each teacher has his own method, usually patterned on the Guru's teachings and on the way he himself has realized, and his own terminology as well. Within that framework, adjustments to the personality of the disciple are made. The disciple is given full freedom of thought and inquiry and encouraged to question to his heart's content. He must be absolutely certain of the standing and competence of his Guru. Otherwise, his faith will not be absolute, nor his action complete. It is the absolute in you that takes you to the absolute beyond you. Absolute truth, love, selflessness are the decisive factors in self-realization. With earnestness, these can be reached. Questioner: I understand one must give up one's family and possessions to become a disciple. Maharaj: it varies with the Guru. Some expect their mature disciples to become ascetics and recluses. Some encourage family life and duties. Most of them consider model family life more difficult than renunciation, suitable for a personality more mature and better balanced. At the early stages, the discipline of monastic life may be advisable. Therefore, in the Hindu culture, students up to the age of 25 are expected to live like monks, in poverty, chastity, and obedience, to give them a chance to build a character able to meet the hardships and temptations of married life. Questioner: who are the people in this room? Are they your disciples? Maharaj: ask them. It is not on the verbal level that one becomes a disciple, but in the silent depths of one's being. You do not become a disciple by choice. It is more a matter of destiny than self-will. It does not matter much who is the teacher. They all wish you well. It is the disciple that matters, his honesty and earnestness. The right disciple will always find the right teacher. Questioner: I can see the beauty and feel the blessedness of a life devoted to search for truth under a competent and loving teacher. Unfortunately, I have to return to England. Maharaj: distance does not matter. If your desires are strong and true, they will mold your life for their fulfillment. Sow your seed and leave it to the seasons. Questioner: what are the signs of progress in spiritual life? Maharaj: freedom from anxiety, a sense of ease and joy, deep peace within, and abundant energy without. Questioner: how did you get it? Maharaj: I found it all in the holy presence of my Guru. I did nothing on my own. He told me to be quiet, and I did, as much as I could. Questioner: is your presence as powerful as his? Maharaj: how am I to know? For me, he is the only presence. If you are with me, you are with him. Questioner: each Guru will refer me to his own Guru. What is the starting point? Maharaj: there is a power in the universe working for enlightenment and liberation. We call it Sadashiva, who is ever present in the hearts of men. It is the unifying factor. Unity liberates. Freedom unites. Ultimately, nothing is mine or yours. Everything is ours. Just be one with yourself and you'll be one with all. At home, in the entire universe. Questioner. You mean to say that all these glories will come with the mere dwelling on the feeling I am? Maharaj. It is the simple that is certain, not the complicated. Somehow, people do not trust the simple, the easy, the always available. Why not give an honest trial to what I say? It may look very small and insignificant, but it is like a seed that grows into a mighty tree. Give yourself a chance. Questioner. I see so many people sitting here, quietly. What have they come for? Maharaj. To meet themselves. At home, the world is too much with them. Here, nothing disturbs them. They have a chance to take leave of their daily worries and contact the essential in themselves. Questioner. What is the course of training in self-awareness? Maharaj. There is no need of training. Awareness is always with you. The same attention that you give to the outer, you turn to the inner. No new or special kind of awareness is needed. Questioner. Do you help people personally? Maharaj. People come to discuss their problems. Apparently, they derive some help or they would not come. Questioner. Are the talks with people always in public or will you talk to them privately also? Maharaj. It is according to their wish. Personally, I make no distinction between public and private. Questioner. Are you always available or have you other work to do? Maharaj. I am always available, but the hours in the morning and late afternoon are the most convenient. Questioner. I understand that no work ranks higher than the work of a spiritual teacher. Maharaj answers. The motive matters supremely. Questioner. The war is on. What is your attitude to it? Maharaj. In some place or other, in some form or other, the war is always on. Was there a time when there was no war? Some say it is the will of God. Some say it's God's play. It is another way of saying that wars are inevitable and nobody is responsible. Questioner. But what is your own attitude? Maharaj. Why impose attitudes on me? I have no attitude to call my own. Questioner. Surely somebody is responsible for this horrible and senseless carnage. Why do people kill each other so readily? Maharaj. Search for the culprit within. The ideas of me and mine are the root of all conflict. Be free of them, and you'll be out of the conflict. Questioner. What of it that I am out of conflict? It will not affect the war. If I am the cause of war, I am ready to be destroyed. Yet it stands to reason that the disappearance of 1,000 like me will not stop wars. They did not start with my birth nor end with my death. I am not responsible. Who is? Maharaj. Strife and struggle are a part of existence. Why don't you inquire who is responsible for existence? Questioner. Why do you say that existence and conflict are inseparable? Can there be no existence without strife? I need not fight others to be myself. Maharaj. You fight others all the time for your survival as a separate body-mind, a particular name and form. To live, you must destroy. From the moment you were conceived, you started a war with your own environment, a merciless war of mutual extermination until death sets you free. Questioner. My question remains unanswered. You are merely describing what I know, life and its sorrows. But who is responsible? You do not say. When I press you, you throw the blame on God or karma or on my own greed and fear, which merely invites further questions. Give me the final answer. Maharaj. The final answer is this: nothing is. All is a momentary appearance in the field of the universal consciousness. Continuity as name and form is a mental formation only, easy to dispel. Questioner: I'm asking about the immediate, the transitory, the appearance. Here is a picture of a child killed by soldiers. It is a fact, staring at you. You cannot deny it. Now, who is responsible for the death of the child? Maharaj: nobody and everybody. The world is what it contains, and each thing affects all others. We all kill the child, and we all die with it. Every event has innumerable causes and produces numberless effects. It is useless to keep accounts. Nothing is traceable. Questioner: your people speak of karma and retribution. Maharaj: it is merely a gross approximation. In reality, we are all creators and creatures of each other, causing and bearing each other's burden. Questioner: so the innocent suffers for the guilty? Maharaj: in our ignorance, we are innocent. In our actions, we are guilty. We sin without knowing and suffer without understanding. Our only hope: to stop, to look, to understand, and to get out of the traps of memory. For memory feeds imagination, and imagination generates desire and fear. Questioner: why do I imagine it all? Maharaj: the light of consciousness passes through the film of memory and throws pictures on your brain. Because of the deficient and disordered state of your brain, what you perceive is distorted and colored by feelings of like and dislike. Make your thinking orderly and free from emotional overtones, and you will see people and things as they are, with clarity and charity. The witness of birth, life, and death is one and the same. It is the witness of pain and of love. For while the existence in limitation, separation is sorrowful, we love it. We love it and hate it at the same time. We fight, we kill, we destroy life and property, and yet we are affectionate and self-sacrificing. We nurse the child tenderly and orphan it too. Our life is full of contradictions, yet we cling to it. This clinging is at the root of everything. Still, it is entirely superficial. We hold on to something or somebody with all our might, and next moment we forget it, like a child that shapes its mud pies and abandons them lightheartedly. Touch them, it will scream with anger. Divert the child and he forgets them. For our life is now, and the love of it is now. We love variety, the play of pain and pleasure. We are fascinated by contrasts. For this, we need the opposites and their apparent separation. We enjoy them for a time and then get tired and crave for the peace and silence of pure being. The cosmic heart beats ceaselessly. I am the witness and the heart too. Questioner: I can see the picture, but who is the painter? Who is responsible for this terrible and yet adorable experience? Maharaj: the painter is in the picture. You separate the painter from the picture and look for him. Don't separate and don't put false questions. Things are as they are, and nobody in particular is responsible. The idea of personal responsibility comes from the illusion of agency. Somebody must have done it. Somebody is responsible. Society, as it is now, with its framework of laws and customs, is based on the idea of a separate and responsible personality. But this is not the only form a society can take. There may be other forms where the sense of separation is weak and responsibility diffused. Questioner. An individual with a weak sense of personality, is he nearer self-realization? Maharaj. Take the case of a young child. The sense of I am is not yet formed. The personality is rudimentary. The obstacles to self-knowledge are few, but the power and the clarity of awareness, its width and depth, are lacking. In the course of years, awareness will grow stronger, but also the latent personality will emerge and obscure and complicate. Just as the harder the wood, the hotter the flame, so the stronger the personality, brighter the light generated from its destruction. Questioner. Have you no problems? Maharaj. I do have problems. I told you already. To exist with a name and form is painful. Yet I love it. Questioner. But you love everything. Maharaj. In existence, everything is contained. My very nature is to love. Even the painful is lovable. Questioner. It does not make it less painful. Why not remain in the unlimited? Maharaj. It is the instinct of exploration, the love of the unknown, that brings me into existence. It is in the nature of being to see adventure in becoming, as it is in the very nature of becoming to seek peace in being. This alteration of being and becoming is inevitable, but my home is beyond. Questioner. Is your home in God? Maharaj. To love and worship a God is also ignorance. My home is beyond all notions, however sublime. Questioner. But God is not a notion. It is the reality beyond existence. Maharaj. You may use any word you like. Whatever you may think of, I am beyond it. Questioner. Once you know your home, why not stay in it? What takes you out of it? Maharaj. Out of love for corporate existence, one is born. And once born, one gets involved in destiny. Destiny is inseparable from becoming. The desire to be the particular makes you into a person with all its personal past and future. Look at some great man. What a wonderful man he was. And yet, how troubled was his life and limited its fruits. How utterly dependent is the personality of man, and how indifferent is its world. And yet, we love it and protect it for its very insignificance. Questioner. The war is on and there is chaos, and you are being asked to take charge of a feeding center. You're given what is needed. Is it only a question of getting through the job? Will you refuse it? Maharaj. To work or not to work is one and the same to me. I may take charge or may not. There may be others better endowed for such tasks than I am. Professional caterers, for instance. But my attitude is different. I do not look at death as a calamity, as I do not rejoice at the birth of a child. The child is out of trouble while the dead is out of it. The child is out for trouble while the dead is out of it. Attachment to life is attachment to sorrow. We love what gives us pain. Such is our nature. For me, the moment of death will be a moment of jubilation, not of fear. I cried when I was born, and I shall die laughing. Questioner. What is the change in consciousness at the moment of death? Maharaj. What change do you expect? When the film projection ends, all remains the same as when it started. The state before you were born was also the state after death, if you remember. Questioner. I remember nothing. Maharaj. Because you never tried. It is only a question of tuning in the mind. It requires training, of course. Questioner. Why don't you take part in social work? Maharaj. But I'm doing nothing else all the time. And what is the social work you want me to do? Patchwork is not for me. My stand is clear. Produce to distribute. Feed before you eat. Give before you take. Think of others before you think of yourself. Only a selfless society based on sharing can be stable and happy. This is the only practical solution. If you do not want it, fight. Questioner. It is all a matter of gunas. Where tamas and rajas predominate, there must be war. Where sattva rules, there will be peace. Maharaj. Put it whichever way you like, it comes to the same. Society is built on motives. Put goodwill into the foundations, and you will not need specialized social workers. Questioner. The world is getting better, Maharaj. The world had all the time to get better, yet it did not. What hope is there for the future? Of course, there have been and will be periods of harmony and peace when sattva was in ascendance, but things get destroyed by their own perfection. A perfect society is necessarily static and therefore it stagnates and decays. From the summit, all roads lead downwards. Societies are like people. They are born, they grow to some point of relative perfection, and then decay and die. Questioner. Is there not a state of absolute perfection which does not decay? Maharaj. Whatever has a beginning must have an end. In the timeless, all is perfect, here and now. Questioner. But shall we reach the timeless in due course? Maharaj. In due course, we shall come back to the starting point. Time cannot take us out of time, as space cannot take us out of space. All you get by waiting is more waiting. Absolute perfection is here and now, not in some future near or far. The secret is in action, here and now. It is your behavior that blinds you to yourself. Disregard whatever you think yourself to be and act as if you were absolutely perfect. Whatever your idea of perfection may be, all you need is courage. Questioner. Where do I find such courage? Maharaj. In yourself, of course. Look within. Questioner. Your grace will help. Maharaj. My grace is telling you now, look within. All you need, you have. Use it. Behave as best you know. Do what you think you should. Don't be afraid of mistakes. You can always correct them. Only intentions matter. The shape things take is not within your power. The motives of your actions are. Questioner. How can action born from imperfection lead to perfection? Maharaj. Action does not lead to perfection. Perfection is expressed in action. As long as you judge yourself by your expressions, give them utmost attention, when you realize your own being, your behavior will be perfect, spontaneously. Questioner. If I am timelessly perfect, then why was I born at all? What is the purpose of this life? Maharaj. It is like asking, what does it profit gold to be made into an ornament? The ornament gets the color and the beauty of gold. Gold is not enriched. Similarly, reality expressed in action makes the action meaningful and beautiful. Questioner. What does the real gain through its expressions? Maharaj. What can it gain? Nothing whatsoever. But it is in the nature of love to express itself, to affirm itself, to overcome difficulties. Once you have understood that the world is love in action, you'll look at it quite differently. But first, your attitude to suffering must change. Suffering is primarily a call for attention, which itself is a movement of love. More than happiness, love wants growth. the widening and deepening of consciousness and being. Whatever prevents becomes a cause of pain. And love does not shirk from pain. Sattva, the energy that works for righteousness and orderly development, must not be thwarted. When obstructed, it turns against itself and becomes destructive. Whenever love is withheld and suffering allowed to spread, war becomes inevitable. Our indifference to our neighbor's sorrow brings suffering to our door.